All right, guys, I want to thank you and welcome you to the State Citizen Training Level 2. Congratulations for being on. We've had a pretty awesome couple months. Last month with Level 1 training, we've had a great response. A lot of people are starting to jump into the living in the private group and working their way around, and we're going to discuss that a little bit today. But welcome. So just bear with me as I go through the slide presentation. This is, it's a natural that we got to do disclaimers, guys. The disclaimers are pretty important from the standpoint that I've had some really weird calls and calls from people that act like, just crazies, And I have to kind of talk about this a little bit because I don't know what your ideology is or what your goals for your family are. Mine are to stay under the jurisdiction of God and not to cash in on a bunch of yachts and cars and homes and the other. Yes, I understand the United States banking system. I understand full faith and credit is the people. But we do not condone, I never have for the last 5 years at HISAdvocates condoned discharge instruments. We've tried to help people in understanding them, what they're doing, but for the most part it just causes a bunch of grief and trouble. It's not that they're unlawful. As a matter of fact, how do you get in trouble for writing a debt instrument? How do you get in trouble for writing a note? Holding a broker's license is one of the questions. You don't need cash to put a deposit down on a home. As a matter of fact, you can put a note down as a deposit on a home. And so that's just the way that it is. Federal Reserve is a note. And when you guys start wrapping your minds around the banking system and everything that we have here in this country and understand money, a lot of those commercial charge instruments are going to go away, meaning federal indictments or whatever, because they are looking at it as a canceled check. They don't understand what you wrote on it. They don't understand the elements of those things. And those points are this: we don't condone it, period. And no, this isn't going to get you a paid-off mortgage, although you could do whatever you want on your own. But this is not a get-rich-quick scheme that taps you into a treasury account. You will not have access to the mineral rights. And, I leave this up here just for a minute to help you guys understand the questions I've gotten in the last 60 days. People literally saying, am I going to be a sovereign citizen? Am I going to be, they talk about I am this or I am that and try to make these statements and bring me along into their little troll, T-R-O-L troll world. And I'm not that. I'm not doing that. My goal is to simply teach a law as it pertains to your rights as a state citizen. It's simple. We're not going to go into troll land or fairyland or Dixie what is the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm saying, land. I mean, I don't want to go down that road. I want people to stay with an understanding that we can be under God here in the jurisdiction as a state citizen. And so my favorite one is this last one, number 38. No, President Trump will not call you and invite you to the White House for dinner. I mean, literally, it's nobody asked me that. That was my way of dealing with the stupidity from people. Look, here as a disclaimer, this basically says we as a private membership organization, association, doesn't matter what you would call us, a private society, a church, a ministry, members of group who are competent non-lawyers can assist members of the group to achieve the goals of the group in court without being charged with the unauthorized practice of law. Okay, so the point is this is a fact, and so we're helping each other understand laws and regulations and codes and statutes, and that's it. And we're supporting each other through all this, and that's it. So as we go, we're going to be learning a lot. One of the things that we had in our last month's slide show presentation is Public Law 97-280, the Bible is the Word of God. Now, public law is what Congress passes, right? So they did a joint resolution under Reagan, which they proclaimed as being the year of the Bible, where the federal government believes that the Bible is the Word of God. We're the first nation ever in the history of man to come back under God, where He is our King, and where we are self-governed since the Old Testament Israel prior to Saul. Can I get an amen? Now, when you get that through your head, what this means, and what it means to come back under God as being the first nation where we were considered self-governed, and do you feel self-governed now, or do you feel governed? Do you feel regulated? Do you feel taxed? Do you feel the burden? Do you feel the handcuffs? Do you feel your house being stolen? This is beyond anything they went through, in my opinion. I don't know what they exactly went through, why they came from and ran from England, but this has gotten to be a point in which we as a people need to start realizing we need to come back under God. Now, today, these are guesses. I'm not sure when we're going to have these time periods, just because I go in topical conversations, and sometimes I take a little bit longer on a slide than I need be, or sometimes I go a little bit quicker. So just work with me. We're probably going to take, depending on how quickly I'm going with the slides, between an hour and an hour and a half lunch. I'll let you know as we're going. The important thing to understand is I'm not going to be able, because I've gotten 25 phone calls this morning, some people saying they never got an email, and all I can do is press the send button twice or three times or four times to make sure you guys get emails, and I've tried to make the phone calls necessary to get people on. It is going to be recorded, but if you do have a support topic or request throughout the day, you can go to HISAdvocates.org, click on support, post the support request, and we're going to be checking that out periodically throughout the day, okay? Now, getting some source material. This is great. You guys, remember the last month's presentation, we went through probably 30, 40 cases, okay? So somebody graciously is doing the background work for HISAdvocates, and we're getting these cases shepherdized, sourced, and a hard copy of every case that we quoted in the last seminar, as it pertains to our state citizenship. So the verb shepherdizing refers to the process of consulting shepherds to see if a case has been overturned, reaffirmed, questioned, or cited by later cases. Our goal at HISAdvocates is to delineate ourselves from the patriot myth to the truth as, recorded in their courts. Remember, some of these cases, even though they say what they say, attorneys will interpret them to mean something else. So I say that as a disclaimer. The point is, we've all been doing a lot of work making the foundation and showing you through this webinar how to live that foundation, that life as a state citizen. And we're going to really hone in on that, because a lot of people, I'm just going to stop just for a sec, a lot of people think that a state citizen is your paperwork. And I will tell you unequivocally, it is absolutely one of the foundational pieces, but it's not everything. Everything is knowing who you are, and I mean that. I am the promotions, the coordinator for the event. That email right there, guys, we're not going to be answering now that the event is live, but if you have questions about future events or whatever, you can go ahead and send an email there, or you can just go to our website, click on support, and post a support request. Well, we have two websites for future information that we're going to be putting out, statecitizenship.org and HISAdvocates.org. You can ask member questions. We do post the majority of our audio presentations, our shows, our calls, our videos to YouTube/HISAdvocates, so you can have a quick reference of our information. Now, these are the topics that we're going to be going over. The privacy in all areas of your life is kind of interwoven through this entire structure, and that's the last one there on this list. we're going to go over the passport process really quickly again, but it's a part of what we did in level 1 training, and it is what I did personally. I do understand there is a pushback. I'm going to address the pushback of not putting your social and how ridiculous that is. I mean, it truly is ridiculous. It tells me that a lot of people need to understand contracts, and that's my goal for today, is to help you understand contracts, understand brackets, understand explanatory statements, understand the word annex, understand that you, in fact, could put a social in brackets and still remove yourself from having any benefit, right, or privilege, or that's even you or assigned to you for identification. It's actually assigned to the registered organization known as your birth certificate. And people don't even understand those simple principles. We're going to get into that today. Now, look, this is that issue where the State Department, the motor vehicle department, they're basically lying on applications, guys. You know, just as one quick reference, if you read, like, thank you, Dixie, if you read that case site for people on that DS-11 form 22 U.S.C. 27 14A, it says, failure to provide your Social Security number may, the word is may, result in the denial of your application consistent with 22 U.S.C. 27 14A. Now, you are looking at that and you're thinking, okay, I may be denied. And then you go read it, and it's speaking about something that has to do with your taxes that you may be due or may be owed. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When you put something on an application, I'm just going to stop for a second here and explain this. When you put something on an application, they're making adjustments and changing your application, and they're violating all kinds of things, you know, putting lines through stuff, and they may even find your social and put it on a sub-signature page that you'll get later back from the Department of State when you ask for a certified copy. The point is what is your allegiance? What is your intent? And we're going to get into that, guys. We're going to talk about how to get certified copies of your passport. The notice, now look, there's a lot of things that a lot of people put out there, and I'm going to list them today for you. And the awesome thing is we're going to be posting them to the Living in the Private group in this next week for you guys to determine what you want to do. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't make bold moves unless God tells me it's cool. Now, when you're making notices about your allegiance to something, those are bold moves. And so I want to get this kind of clear right now. Public franchises are governmental agencies. That's what a public franchise is. It's a corporation that is mirroring, pretending, acting as the sovereign, known as the United States Corporation, on territory. We're also going to go over how to understand contracts and mitigate through them. And guys, I'm going to put a little more time into this area than you would think, so I may not get to that by lunch, but I'm going to try to jam through today. I want to get out of here early, but I doubt it's going to happen. There's a lot of discussion that needs to be done on these matters of living in the private, and so work with me. You know, just understand, if I spend a little more time, let me know if that's okay. If I run a little long, let me know if that's okay. If not, it's probably going to happen anyway, just because I want to make sure you guys understand what being a man is or a woman is versus what they say you are. You know, what does that have to do with me? Okay? You got to remember those words. What does that have to do with me, the man? What does it have to do with me? And if you understood that, what I just said, you'll get it today. If you don't understand it right now, you'll get it today. Challenge and jurisdiction. We're going to show you what we do. And we're going to show you why it works. And I got probably a half a dozen people on this call that it's worked for. Okay? Foreclosure cases, issues, big issues. Training and lawful interaction with governmental franchises. This is going to be a fun section, guys. It really is. And that's going to be the highlight of my day just because I make some funnies. And I want you guys to really get your minds wrapped around how to live with people as a guy having dominion versus somebody who's trying to exert rights, because you don't have rights, and you have unalienable given rights, but if you understood truly what that meant, you're a servant of the Most Holy God, and I'll get into that later. But how do you post stuff on HISadvocates.org? Well, right here, if you look at the top of our website, you click on that post, click on Post Support Topic, okay? Post and Post Support Request or Topic. And that is going to bring you to, let me kind of walk you through this. You click on that support feature at the top, pull it down to Post a Support Request, just like that. And it's going to bring you up to a screen that you need to understand is all private. All of our communications are private. Click your issue, question, whatever. Click whether you're a free member or a VIP member there on the right side. And write in your subject, okay? And then you write in your post. Now, guys, look. I'm surprised that a lot of people have issues with adding attachments, but we have a detailed description for adding attachments, and it's really not that difficult. You simply click that Add Attachments. You go find your scan. You click on it, and then you click Open, and then you click Finished, and then you click Post. Open, Finish, Post, and then you're done. Open, Finish, Post, and then you're done. Now, obviously, I'm not going to do it for the presentation, although I should have, but I think I did it right there. I realized it was 19 megs, so I canceled it. Then you click Finish, and then down below, you scroll all the way down, and then you click Publish, Post. Boom, done. Okay? Now you've got an open queue, and you're good to go. That is how you open a support topic. Pretty easy, huh? Okay, now obviously, as you guys know, this is the home screen. This is last month's home screen. We did not put any documents in here. I'm going to address what we're going to be giving you document-wise, but we're going to be doing it through the Living in the Private group, and we are going to post scans. Just hear me out. I'll go over it again for people that aren't listening right now. Scans of the initial Level 1 training to PowerPoint. Scans of the Level 2 training PowerPoint. There's some supporting documents that you guys need, jurisdictional challenges, court of record templates, passport response templates, and so on and so forth. Those are all going to be made available through the Living in the Private group, plus you'll be able to watch this stream for the next 30 days. Okay? VIP benefits. All right. Not what you're going to get. You're not getting a Rolls Royce, and you're not going to get a private jet. Although I would love to give you those. But people are asking, and I'll be honest. Okay, look, there's so many people that came on to the last month's event, and I personally think 100% of them should be watching the video over and over and over because it helps people understand. And we got about half to take advantage of that 30-day free trial offer that we did. Yes, it requires a credit card. No, you do not get charged for the VIP benefits. Now, the reason why you want VIP benefits is here. It's response to all your support topic questions as it relates to the passport program, that first 30 days. If you go post 30 days, it's really any issue topically, foreclosure related, how do you do certain things. You can post questions at any time to support staff regarding any topic. That's what a VIP member gets. Toll-free private number for any emergency that you may have. Now, I am going to disclaim this. You need to understand there's terms of service limits, but I help anybody, and you can ask anybody that calls me. I pick up that phone, and I spend my time. I let them know you have 1 minute or 15 minutes or 10 minutes. There are some people who will tell you their whole case lives. We can't live like that. We can't help other people. You also get full access to the entire website, including the Living in the Private group. View 100% of all of HISadvocates, which includes a massive amount of VIP content, which is extensive. This one benefit alone, we consider it pays for it over and over. It's just a vast amount of information people can look through. What we're trying to do is get everything organized to be beautiful. See, guys, you get to learn public versus private, on a peer-to-peer encryption. Our website is encrypted, so anything that you're viewing or posting, there's an encryption from your computer to our servers. So it can't be seen by the general internet. It's truly private. We're trying to help you understand state citizenship, operating privately, growing knowledge through a community of like-minded people. And that's the whole thing about the living in the private group, and so that you can go back and forth. And there's been some pretty decent articles in this last month that have been talking about some various things. Now, you also get access to all of our forms, which are debt, foreclosure, legal issues. We're actually in the process over the next 30 days updating those with our current stuff. We're also in the process of creating a knowledge base section for VIP members, to where when they have issues, we're going to be able to point them straight to a knowledge base and start going after information. Access to all the blogs, which is everything, and you guys get access to exclusive calls that the general public can't. And you can also go look at the past calls, knowledge base, and private online communication. Now, guys, this may sound silly, but you can literally have a private conversation with somebody through this membership. I know it sounds silly, but you can go on, communicate, and nobody else can see that communication like they can with emails. So if you have another member that you're conducting a conversation with, it can be private. All right, so in our new emergency call service, which we came out with in the last week, it's included for VIP members. This is what you look like prior to making the emergency call. I'm serious. You have no idea how many people look like that, feel like that, and then they call us, and then we give them support, help, and direction. Now, obviously, guys, this is a big funny, but for me, you wouldn't believe how many people cherish being able to dial somebody on the phone and deal with an issue immediately. Obviously, again, it's limited under our terms of services to emergencies only, okay? And it means you can't dial us and tell us what your cat is doing or what your dog did. And, I mean, obviously, if we develop a friendship over a period of years, you know, that might be a pliable thing. Now, we're also offering new service to members, event text notification for the phone calls, for things that are happening, hot blogs, whatever, on our website to make people see things quicker. And so you'll get a text, you can click on the link, go straight to the site and read about it. We're also going to be doing, it's going to sound silly, but if there's any major issues, world issues, we're going to be posting that, you know, big earthquakes, stuff like that, just because you need to really kind of know what's happening around you and know what's going on, and we want people to have a little extra support through the membership and so forth. Now, here's the funny. This is what you look like without and what you look like with. Without, okay, and with, right? That guy look excited, huh? He's happy. Again, one more time. Without? All right, that's all. All right, so we're going to go through a video on the living in the private group really quick. So a lot of people, you need to understand that the living in the private group can be accessed by livingintheprivate.org, okay? So if you remember that, livingintheprivate.org. Or you go and you click on, at the top of our home screen, you go to Living in the Private, which is across the top. Now, please understand, some people don't see that line across the top of our home screen. Let me just pause this for a sec. There we go. Some people don't see that Living in the Private group across the top of our home screen, or, you know, those words. Let me go back a little bit. They don't see home, about us, or activities. Sometimes you'll see 3 lines right here. It's a personal issue on your browser. You need to shrink your browser settings so that you see like a little bit less. And most likely it's an elderly person or somebody that has trouble seeing. They blow their browser up and they don't see these things right here. But there's 3 lines over here if that's you. Those 3 lines over here, I've noticed people are telling me, oh, you don't have anything that says Living in the Private. Oh, most assuredly, I say we do. It's right across the top. Here's proof, okay? But you have 3 lines over here. Click those 3 lines and you get a drop down of our menu. Okay, back to the video. So once you get into the Living in the Private group, again, please remember livingintheprivate.org, livingintheprivate.org. We do have a hold harmless and a terms of service. You just simply click the enter button right there. Now, guys, this has been around for about 2.5 years. We are just, it's hard to develop a back-end structure until you absolutely know the best way to secure yourself privately. And so we put in forms. In the forms we have everything from, the issues of what you're trying to do to have an exodus and all those things. They have, the zone improvement plan to health, how to deal with removing your house from property into land, and then talking about the different public franchises that are important, and then also talking about our creator. There literally is a guy in there, his name is Mark Eastman, that gives a medical scientific proof of our creator's existence, and it's pretty neat. So you can see an extensive amount of information that is back there, and it's actually going to, in this next 30 days, it's going to compound and grow, and we're putting all the documents that we're going to be talking about today in the back office. And so people can communicate, they can look at the different blogs and stuff, and this is important because you guys don't get it. This is here and it's available for you, and you have the ability to ask questions, and the first 30 days is free. Obviously, guys, we want you to become a full-time VIP member, and we want it to be worth it for you. And so we're trying to work on that and make it so it's worthwhile. But we have a clips section. It's got photos, videos, audios, files, everything that there's really some interesting stuff on people's perspectives a year ago, like how the media is manipulating all stories, guys. It's ridiculous. They manipulate the story by markets and areas. We talk about what the intelligent community is saying, mainly retired guys. We talk about, we show world events from YouTube postings and some different things, and we have hundreds and hundreds of files there about common law and some different things. So, guys, this is by far, if you got into it and you spent some time, it's one of those eye-opening. It's kind of like a compilation of everything that I have found over the last 8 years. That has got me to this point where I'm starting to grow. Now, let me show you something on the home screen of living in the private. Right here, and this isn't an old thing, but it's a Arizona state senator talking about U.S. Citizens versus a national, and it's actually certified, and the notary was certified as well. So it's unequivocal proof, and it's pretty neat. All right, and so that's it. Now, look, guys, the VIP shows and the special calls, if you go click on events, you can follow the event, but we outline what we're going to be talking about in days. So every night, if you want to see if the call is going, sometimes we postpone because some things come up or whatever. That's fine. Just go to click on events and check out what we're doing, because we will always update this and keep you guys abreast of what's going on. And again, for you guys which have a VIP membership, thank you very much. For people that are purchasing this event, your admin code for VIP membership is admin30. You just simply go to our home screen at HISAdvocates.org and click on VIP membership and join, and use the code admin30. Now, when you put the code in admin30, click apply, and then you'll see that it comes off and you won't be charged. Now, as a disclaimer, you will be charged after 30 days, and we hope we've done a good job to get you abreast of what's going on in dealing with your passport stuff and so forth. So that's it. Let's get rolling. We're going to have a great day. All right. As everybody knows, I open up in prayer, and I delayed this prayer time a little bit because I wanted everybody to get on. So look, if you don't want to pray, you can put the phone down for about a minute, and if you do want to pray, just hang on, and that's called consent. It's implied consent. Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to share some truth, and Lord, it's a conviction to know this stuff and to to get it out. I have such a burden, Father, to share this information with people. And Lord, I'm really I'm hurting inside for the people because there's such an oppression on this land. Lord, first forgive us for our sins as a body. Help us to walk away from that person known as that all caps name, and help us to understand the difference of delineating ourselves so that we're not lukewarm or living in sin. It's living in sin, Father. It's that principle speaking in the word lukewarm. You're still living in sin, knowing what that it's you're a party to, or you are a part of. Help us to really get that down, which I really expounded on the first event, Lord. But just get them to just have an understanding today of who they are. That's all I want, Father. Just get them to understand who they are. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, a little bit about me. You don't have a last name and you don't have a first name. You have a surname and you have a given name. That's what a man is called. Okay, I've been in the loan business. I was in the loan business for about 16 years. I am absolutely an expert in a lot of areas of residential loans and hard money. I do hold a broker's license in California, and I'm properly contracted for that. I've done everything that I'm about to teach you guys successfully, and I actually list what I've done today. I'm going to list what I've done, and been very successful in business, and I've also lost my butt. I've gone through a lot. I've helped people with jurisdictional issues all the time. Social Security or social services, abductions of children, foreclosures, court issues. Helped thousands of people learn how to stop the theft of their homes. I've been studying God's Word for 25 years. I actually first tried to prove it wrong. My middle name is Thomas. I was named after the patron saint, Thomas More. But I've always kind of been a doubting Thomas, like the disciple. I've been studying world issues, largely going beyond what the news tells us for about 10 years. I've been married for 21 years, father of 3, and I run many foundations, and I'm also the executive director for HISAdvocates. This is my birth certificate. So everybody write down my birthday and shoot me a text. Y'all got my cell. And I like knowledge. So send me lots of gifts, lots of knowledge. One just quick touch, we expound on this in the last event. You look where my mom signed us as informant, and this is a fiction. It's a creation. My mom was a creation. She was thinking she was just creating a record. She was writing information down on a certificate of live birth, making a manifest, putting the palm print, putting the footprint, and then that gets sent off to the state. But she's the informant. She's the one turning one over. That's what informant means. It's one of the definitions. And so and you notice on the signature line it says parent. Okay. You notice above on her line where she wrote mother of child, right there in that middle, mother of child, it says name a mother. Name a mother. Okay. Through the marriage license, which we're going to really go into today, she became a parent and a guardian, and she is the informant of the live birth record of this new man, but fiction that's about to be created and get published in the state newspaper and so on and so forth. So this is actually the registered organization. It's the birth certificate. And it's a copy of my certificate of live birth. It is the same thing as this right there. And it's been colored down and watermarked and posted on a 32-pound watermarked banknote paper. Now, hold on. Of course, I'm forgetting how to blow this thing up right now. Let's blow that up right there. Okay, so on all marriage licenses and birth certificates, you're going to find Pacific banknote paper or American banknote paper in the corner of your record. And for whatever reason, I'm not seeing it right now, but you will see it. Hold on. I've seen it on my birth certificate before. Somebody pointed out to me. Am I missing it or something? Anyway, this will be one of the things I blow up for you guys later so that you can see that. They're so small, it's hard to see. It just basically is, why are they printing it on a 32-pound watermark banknote paper? Your information on a birth certificate, sealing it, and it's basically the Social Security Administrative Act of 1933. They're creating a person. It's right there. You can't see it. It's not a clear copy. It's right there. It's across right there. And I'll get a clear copy of that for everybody. You can find it on your own birth certificate, guys. This isn't like, it's not a fact. It's a fact. So your name in all caps. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's go down to that third one right there. The omission of a Christian name by either plaintiff or defendant in a legal process prevents the court from acquiring jurisdiction. Okay? A name spelled in all capital letters or a name initialed is not a proper noun denoting a specific person, but a fictitious name or a name of a dead person or a whatever. Complaint must identify at least one plaintiff by the true name, otherwise no action has been commenced. Okay, now look, I'll talk about the birth certificate just real quick. I know people that have written letters saying that my birth certificate is not properly spelled in upper and lowercase, make the demand to get the change, okay? And they go through a very tough process to get it changed, and then all of a sudden, guess what? They disappear off the public registry. I'm not kidding. Defendant was impleaded by the name of A.W. Becker. Initials are no legal part of a name. The authorities holding the full Christian name to be essential. Okay? United, here's the big one right here. This is a whale nugget. A whale. Because if you want to know how to print things on every document in every single franchise of the United States Corporation, it's right here on the United States Government Printing Office Style Manual, and that clearly defines the rules of grammar for recording a proper noun in Chapter 3.2. Capitalization. Proper nouns are capitalized. Examples given: Rome, Brussels, John, whatever. It further defines 11.7 that names of vessels quoted in a manner printed other than lowercase Roman, examples are like this, are fictions. Okay? Go read it, guys. Don't listen to me. They are fictions and or corporations. Black's Law, fictitious name, a counterfeit, alias, form, pretend name taken by a person differing from some essential particular from his true name, consisting of a Christian name. So guys, we actually posted this on the Living in the Private group last week, and so right here is that second part. The U.S. Government Styles Manual, Chapter 3, requires only the names of corporate and other fictional entities are those serving in corporate capacities to be in all capitalized letters. Now, I changed that to all capitalized letters, but it's lowercase in the actual manual, but there it is, Chapter 3. So if you want to know how the United States is to print your birth certificate of a fictional entity known as a registered organization, it's right there. That's cool, huh? You can read the next one yourself. Okay. You can post questions here for today's webinar, and I'm going to ask that you go to HISAdvocates, click on support, post a support request. But listen, just for ease of use today, at the end of today when we're doing the Q&A, post it here to apply at statecitizenship.org. I just want to delineate, this is not for questions after today, okay? This is a big thing that a lot of people misunderstand and they get upset. Now look, this is some stuff we talked about in the previous event, but I want to bring it up again because repetitive training is the only way that we grow. Subject matter jurisdiction can be challenged at any point all the way through prison, okay? I talked about this last time. I'm going to talk about it again. Multiple people I am helping. You let them go through their trial issue. And I know there's people on this call right now that are in trials. And they get you to a point of summary judgment. Well, guess what? Before that judgment gets heard, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. If you're in state court, you can pull it up into Fed court and start over. And start with it, and then they're going to be flustered. No, it's about to go to judgment down here. No, you're bringing a new action in federal court, and then they got to go through the whole thing. They're going to try to 12B6 dismissal. They're going to try to do all kinds of stuff. The point is, you can get even into federal court and get down to a point, and then boom, challenge subject matter jurisdiction at the very end, and say, oh, this is what's happening today. And they may try to step on what you're doing, and they may not. All right, I'm just going to say I've watched 2 judgment hearings in the last 2 months, and you all know who I'm talking about because you're on, get blown out and dismissed. The case is over for now. It's not permanently with prejudice, it's without prejudice, but the point is it's over because the jurisdictional challenge, plus I taught them how to stand on that document, which we're going to do today. Okay. Second maxim, the application is yours, the identification is theirs. Guys, that passport does not belong to you, it belongs to them. Stop worrying about whether it's black, blue, white, red, green, brown, yellow, turquoise, purple, auburn. It doesn't matter what color the passport is. It doesn't matter if it says, oh, this is our first recognized state citizen national. It doesn't matter. The application is all that matters. What do they bring into court when they're questioning you when you've challenged jurisdiction? They bring in your applications, guys. They don't bring in, well, you're holding a passport. No. I applied for that as a state citizen national objection. Then they got to bring that in. That's all they ever bring in is your applications to your bank account, to your stock trade account, to DMV, everybody. Wait a minute, sir, his allegiance is not to the United States, and therefore he is not a U.S. citizen. Unless you're receiving benefits, but what again is receiving benefits, and this is obviously dialogue we're going to get into today. Governmental public franchises were designed to serve you. We need to start calling them on that. Period. They got to stop serving themselves. Words mean what you intend them to mean for that contract. So you can have a word, and we're going to show you today what some of these words can mean, like the word public. Big difference. It's both a noun and an adjective. And they can mean it any way they want. And you'll never know. It just sounds like it sounds, and you think it means what it means, and it doesn't. The word understand. You think it means what it means, and it doesn't mean to comprehend. In a lot of cases, it's to stand under their jurisdiction. Okay? You are only as good as your latest contract, and that includes verbal. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to change your status forever, but that means you might get your butt put in a pokey because you can't stand on your grounds as a state citizen, or that you contracted with them in some way. But if you screw up, look at the next line. You can always correct the record. What is the record? It's a written record, period. Your voice record is also a written record, but in California they don't have court stenographers anymore, court reporters. They blew them out. Is it because of the corruption or to save money? Come on, guys. Those courts are billion-dollar organizations making hundreds of millions of dollars for the state. You think they can afford a court reporter? They can afford anything they want in any color they want, but you can always correct the record. You can remove your signature from any document lawfully. I'm going to show you today how to do it. This is Level 1 revisited. So for the next 10 slides, my passport application, I redacted some things with John Kerry. But this is, and we're going to go through this quick. This is a redacted, certified copy of my passport application, of my intention to be a State of the Union citizen. And I just redacted the numbers on my passport. There I am. I'm a round, black, pudgy. I am pudgy. That's cool. And what they do, when you bring forward information, what they do is they change it. Like they'll cross out State of the Union. And you know, this whole garbage about not submitting a social, guys, let me explain something. There's so many things that you could do to deal with that. I haven't had to deal with that, and I do this. I've heard of a couple of people who've had to deal with it, but I haven't had to deal with this. And we're going to discuss how to deal with it today if it does happen. But the bottom line is you can, you know, brackets, we show in law why it stands alone and is not a part of the document. So a mailing address and care of your foundation name, and we're going to make an offer at the end for Christians only. And it's not because I don't want to help non-believers. I can't. But if somebody wants to start a church ministry, we're going to help them start a church ministry. And they're going to have to take an oath and write a letter of who they are in God and basically a statement of faith. And that statement of faith is what is going to allow for them to be a church. So in care of is always another entity that you have created. The mailing address and a zip code going to this entity is not you. Because precursor to this, I removed myself from the office of the person and I stopped accepting personal mail. Now look right here. All rights reserved without prejudice, non-assumptive, 28 U.S.C. 1746-1. That's without the United States, but with the United States of America. And it says, see explanatory statement. I got my, it says by in front of my name with the full disclosure disclaimer. See explanatory statement. Okay. Now, on the second section, I wrote in State of the Union citizen, right? Why did they change it? Why did they cross that out? Who are they to cross out my stuff, right? But what does it matter? It's my intent. So do I have the ability to show intent? Yes. Okay. Down here, permanent residence, none. There is none. Okay. And it's zeros because it's non-resident, non-person in the United States or in any state with a capital S. I'm in a lowercase state, California. Okay. But this is not a permanent address. It's clearly showing intent. If it doesn't show it there, it shows it on my explanatory statement. Okay. Now, the explanatory statement is a constant work, and we're going to be adjusting it for anybody that has the Social Security issue. And you can just scroll down through it, but you all have a copy of it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. First, they were citing 60390, and they still are on the back of the passport application, but it has nothing to do with Social Security. It has to do with a tax ID number. This section is referring to a business with a tax ID number. Okay, so here's the second page. Again, you guys have copies of this if you attended the Level 1 event. And again, look at this. Now, guys, you need to understand something. Okay? Doesn't matter what I submitted on that application. This is who I am, because this is my affidavit. This is my declaration pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1746-1. I declare under penalties of perjury under the laws of the United States of America that the statements made on this passport application within this statement are true and correct, that A, I am not a United States citizen. I'm not. I'm an American. And I cite it. So let me ask you a question. I send this in. I am not a U.S. citizen. My parents were not U.S. citizens. Look at this, guys. This is my parents, parental, my mother and my father. No. U.S. citizen. No. And I got a passport. Period. Now, I don't really want to go through all this. You guys have seen this stuff as being a part of our level 1 training. Anybody that missed level 1 training, don't sweat it. It's all good. Here is a letter from the passport denying somebody, and what we're going to do is outline for you really quick how to respond, okay? And we're going to deal with that Social Security aspect a little bit, but anybody obviously that's a part of the VIP is going to have the knowledge of what everybody is doing, because you guys, again, if you put a social on the application in brackets and then you outline in the explanatory statements that you don't believe that social is yours but rather a person known as Kelby Thomas Smith, all caps, with a registered organization and a birth certificate of X number, and that you're delineating yourself as the man from the person, but you are the paramount interest and estate holder, and we can word it any way we want, they're going to have to, in law, give you a passport. Okay, because what they quote, as you will see today, is ridiculous. So let's look at this. They're wanting him to fill out a new passport application. Right here, look. I want a new completed application, DS-11 form. I've never once done that. They want identification passport photograph in this letter. No. Okay? So here's the general responses. Lack of Social Security. You're not a 14th Amendment citizen. You're stipulating that you're not a United States citizen or that you altered the application. Those are generally the 4 responses. Okay. So this is what we do for now. And you guys are going to get a copy of this, so relax. I live at 123 Gonna Get My Passport Street. That's my funny for this, okay? And it simply says, because you're in agreement with them, I am in receipt of your attached letter regarding citizenship and the United States of the United States of America. And we have the same understanding that I am a citizen of the United States of America. Asterisk. Asterisk. What is asterisk? Right here. Hold on. United States Black's Law 5th, 3rd edition definition. One of the several unions of the states. Okay? So you are defining yourself, still yet again, proving and maintaining your citizenship as a state citizen. They don't see that asterisk. Who cares if they do? I hope we start educating these governmental franchises, these corporations. I really do. Because they said in his letter, this is what they said, the statutes governing the issuance of U.S. passports require that the passport be issued only after the applicant has completed an unaltered application. Lie. Sorry if I yelled in your ear. Lie. Okay? Really? DS-11, page 5. I declare in the penalties of perjury all foregoing I'm a citizen of the United States or blah, blah, blah. Okay, watch this. All right. any of the below information acts conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, or a portion which applies should be lined out. It should be lined out, and a supplementary explanatory statement under oath or affirmation, which is what we do, guys. That's what we do. So an explanatory statement changing the application calls them on this lie. It's a lie. It's nothing else but a lie. See what I'm saying? Why are they lying? Are they being trained to lie? Are they being trained to push back? Yes. My guess is yes. Or they're not being trained on their own application. So, simple. All this information was properly complied and in accordance to the statutes and application requirements. I'm affixing a full and complete copy of everything that was submitted to your offices through the United States Postal Office, as it was the proper way for me to apply. You have received the proper explanatory statements affixed with the proper oath as required by law. Guys, we're 100% on getting passports. Okay? The Social Security issue, it's not going to be any different if you know how to contract. If you know how to contract, you can do it any way you want. So right here, I'm going to show this to you later, what I write on every line with the governmental franchises. Okay? Pretty cool. You're getting a Word document. I know you all are screenshotting this. Don't worry about it. You're going to get a Word document. Isn't that cool? All right. Now, getting certified copies of your passport application. Guys, I'm going to give you a letter that is going to be with all the rest. I didn't have time to get in here today. I literally have been up for days working on this. But I'm going to give you a letter to put in here that's going to be able to help you order certified copies. I'm going to tell you how. You're going to wait, after you get your passport, wait 3 or 4 weeks, get it in the system. You can do one of two things. You can FOIA, but I'm going to show you the general design of what to say, okay? And that'll come out with this. This is obviously a copy of it, but oh, I did have the time to get in it. Good. I thought I didn't. Why did I think I didn't? I'm blind. Anyway, so that's all. Last middle. Okay. Where you're receiving it. No big deal. Again, you're getting a copy of this. That's where you're sending it to. It's a law enforcement liaison. Or you can do a FOIA request to the State Department, either way. Guys, this takes months. This takes months. I have no idea why. I think mine took 5 or 6 months to get my certified copies that you just saw in the previous post. Crazy, huh? Okay, now here's a section on the notices of public franchises. I'm going to read some of these to you, and there's a few in here I like. I'm going to post all of them to the back office, to the Living in the Private group, and we're going to go through them together, and we're going to rip them apart, because there's things like American National, you know, American/National with a lowercase n, that might be better. But there's no such thing as an American National that I could find anywhere in the law. Affidavit of an American National. Again, National lowercase 8 U.S.C. 1101 A21 is the proper national we're seeking. It's the person that owes allegiance to the state. 8 U.S.C. 1101 A22 is the uppercase national of the United States. The word of is a possessive, meaning citizen of the United States. So question, why is the lowercase national not on a passport application? Think about that for a minute. It's just, they don't want you to know your true freedom under God. That's all I can think of. I can't think of anything else. They don't want you to know your true freedom of under God. And it's very important, guys, that you guys get your mind wrapped around who you are, the true freedom that you have under God, and that stop using their statutes and codes and stand firm as a state would or an estate would, in grounded in the Word, grounded in God, and watch what happens in your life. I'm going to say this. Excuse me, I'm drinking water as I go here. I'm going to say this off topic because it's this important. I've done a record analysis of people that are Christians and put everything at the foot of the cross and going through foreclosure crisis. And it is substantially different, their results, of the people that don't. Just hear me out. You can. That's my opinion. After watching 6-7 years of this, people that rely on God have favor from God. Period. So a couple of documents that I think are important. The authentication of the BC process, very important. We're going to talk about that, where to go for it. Any affidavit that you do, it's always important, but what do you do with the affidavit? Where does it go? Because there's many different types. Affidavit of life and name. There's declarations. There's, affidavit of exemption of withholding concerning non-taxpayer. Some people are doing deed of acceptance on the title of the person. Declaration of status of living man or woman. Affidavit of exemption. I already read that. The point is, look, you got all another declaration right here and a fee and fines code. You can nail it all in one, and then serve the appropriate agency with it being apostilled, and keep certified copies on you, get it lodged into a public registry somewhere, and now serve constructive notice to the appropriate entities, because it is public constructive notice. If they do not, and here's the principle, if you put something in the public and it is not rebutted, and it's the same thing with the deed on your home. It's the same thing with somebody foreclosing on your home and transferring title after a non-judicial foreclosure. If you do nothing on title or rebut that presumption, if you do nothing, it becomes fact, right? That's what we know. If the IRS mails you letters and you don't respond, what do? They lien you. If you're in court and the judge asks you a question and you don't respond, what does he do? He assumes. Makes an ass out of you. Right? Assume. I'm sorry, that was horrible. So the judge is trying to trick you, and he's going to trick you, and if you say nothing, you don't respond, that's what happens. And so you get a letter from the Department of State on something, and you don't respond. 90 days later, they eject your letter. Guys, you have to push back, and sometimes they're going to push back on you. And what are you going to do? You need to bring a case, or you need to know what you need to do. And it could be any number of things. It could be an interview process. You can bring it up to their supervisors and just say, you guys are violating your own federal law under the color of law, and you're using these case sites that have nothing to do with this. Okay? All they're trying to do is push back. But even if they did push back and absolutely had you to have a Social Security number on the application, there's 1,000 different ways you could do it and still retain your unalienable God-given rights and delineate yourself from the person. Okay? So I have done some form of some of these, and I'll leave it at that, but I'm going to show you what I've done right here. So I have a passport as a state citizen. No, the passport isn't black. It's the same United States of America passport as everybody else. The application belongs to me. The passport belongs to them. I've ordered certified copies of my SS5. That's the Social Security application that I signed at age 13. Okay? I'm absolutely going to do something about that, and I'm about 2 weeks away from having it done, but it doesn't matter. but it's just eye-dotting stuff. I've closed all personal bank accounts. I've restructured and recontracted my private mailbox accounts. I have a couple of private mailbox accounts. I have restructured my driver's license application completely. I've stopped receiving benefits of all kinds. What do I mean by benefits? Okay, I don't care if they call a federal benefit check a benefit. That's fraud. When you put money into something and they've advertised it as a certain way, it is not a benefit. But nevertheless, your person is who's receiving the benefit. What I'm talking about here is welfare, food stamps, government health insurance, benefits like that. A driver's license, I'm not driving, okay, guys? I hold a license, a driver's license in my pocket that I've contracted properly, but I'm not a U.S. citizen for doing so. And it is not a benefit to go down the street in a car. It is a benefit to drive a motor vehicle. And so that's the sad thing about where we're at is that you have the cops believe you're driving a motor vehicle, and the fact is you're traveling in a car. Same things. But the difference of the word drive is being paid to do it. Nobody's paying me to drive. My kids for sure ain't paying me to drive. Okay? You guys tracking? So, all right. I've authenticated all my birth certificates. I have more than one. Same thing. I sent them to the Secretary of State of California, asked for a certified copy. Or excuse me, I go down to Norwalk because I was born in LA County, and I asked for a certified copy. So you have to go to the state to which you were born on. You have to go to that Secretary of State, ask for a certified copy. Then you need to go and have the Secretary of State. Excuse me, let me correct myself. You have to go to whoever holds birth certificates. Sometimes it's a Department of State, sometimes it's Secretary of State, sometimes it's court, sometimes it's an assessor, county. So in California, it's an assessor. So I ordered a certified copy. I then took it to the Secretary of State, asked them to authenticate it. Then I took that to the Department of State, Washington, D.C., asked them to authenticate that. That is what I used for my passport application. Okay? Not even going to get into why, but I'm the original receipt holder of the only authenticated birth certificate. And one day, if you go into Living in the Private Group and research it, you'll find what that actually means. It's pretty interesting. I'm not 100% sold on the concept, but title is everything. Title is everything. Okay? Again, I stopped receiving personal mail because I recontracted my mailbox, and the only thing I receive mail in is the name of a foundation or a self-supporting ministry. That is it. If something comes to me, Kelby, I refuse it. I remove my signature from all instruments and serve constructive notice to all parties that it applied to. I did that 5 years ago. Gosh, man, that seems like yesterday. I'm going to show you again how to do that. I don't have a mailbox where I rest my head at night, meaning I don't have a mailbox in front of my house. Okay? I highly recommend that you remove your mailboxes. I have a guy, anybody in foreclosure? Anybody in foreclosure? Go get that mailbox out of the ground or super glue it. They'll still try to post stuff, but it's not service. You understand? And you gotta remove yourself from the office of the person, and you gotta stop receiving personal mail. And there's a way that you can absolutely not get served. Okay, and keep your home. And so, let me ask you a question. So for all the governmental franchises that could be listening to this and at a future time, I do this because and help people because they are committing fraud. The banks are committing fraud with the United States corporation, unbeknownst to all of the policing agencies and federal governing agencies. They don't know that all loans, for the most part, are prepaid. They're using the signature of the living man or woman to pull from the state account basically all those funds that are collected and get paid in interest to the Treasury and get pulled over to the Federal Reserve. The bottom line is the Department of Treasury, based on a certain amount of birth certificates in that state, receives a certain amount of funding. And I forgot where I was going with this. Don't do this to me, Lord. Don't let me do this. Anyway, I totally forgot where I was going with that. Oh, that sucks. I had something important to say, too. All right, so it shows you how tired I am. I got 3 hours of sleep last night and just plugging away. All right, so the next one. Sign all agreements with a full reservation of rights. I got to get the thing back up so I can view the screen. Hold on one sec. There it is. Here we go. Where is it? Okay. Okay, everybody able to see it? I see a couple posts. I'm just checking the posts real quick. Everybody able to see the screen? Okay, thank you. So now these are the ones that I did for myself, and this is important for you guys to make your mind up. Now I'm in the process of working on about a half a dozen other things. You know, I'm going to work with the people in the Living in the Private group so that we can put our minds together and think of what's best, because I'm not a guru. But what I think I do differently than most people is I read the intent of what was written probably a little better than the average bear, and I respond to it from a constructive fraud standpoint, and put them in a position where they might be in personal trouble and go after the oath of the supervisor or something. Just stuff I've learned over the years, but it's been helpful. So, affidavit of non-signature. 11:15. This is a good time for a potty break. What I'm going to do is mute it out, and let's take about 15 minutes so I can spend some time on this document and spend some time showing you how it should look. All right? So 15 minutes, come back at 11:30. All right, so we're about 30 seconds out from getting going again, guys. And you're going to like this next section. Here we go. So coming back from our first break, you take a look at this. I posted this after doing it for myself on the first part of 2013. And it very much outlines what you need to do to structurally, specifically remove yourself from an EFT, a bond, a UCC filing, whatever document. So what I want you to do is go to HISAdvocates.org, and you're going to click on our search right here. Well, first you got to sign in. Of course I'm not signed in. So you're going to click on our search, and you just type non-signature, non-signature. Okay. And these two are the supporting documents to it, so you're going to need those. But here's the main page, Affidavit of Non-Signature. And that's the most important one. Click on it, you open it up. And it is step by step. Now look, then Pinal County was accepting everything that you filed into the county. I don't know whether they do anymore or not, but there's other counties in Georgia, in Washington, that you can file it in, and you can just change the information on the Pinal County doc right there. Okay? So just you follow these steps. If you've got an issue with a lender, to bank or lender, affidavit of non-signature for a bank or lender, and this is basically it opens up in a place where you download the file, open with Microsoft Word, and boom. You fill it out, copy it down to your local computer. I encourage everybody who you know, this is for the TT days a long time ago when we were filling out those bonds, which are lawful, 100% lawful. And I look forward to somebody, I see them get proven every day as being lawful. Not every day, but a lot. And so that's the non-signature for Pinal County. Here is for a bank or a lender. And look, we've had 1,000 views on this. And so basically, I want to read this to you because this document could be used to remove your signature from anything. Okay? Your affiant is competent, bring forward his affidavit, now, today, I'd probably write this a little bit differently, but it's the same effect. You're still getting your signature removed. But I'd probably do a few more things. But you got to put the, you know, what it is you were trying to set off or discharge. And guys, got to remember something. You know, with these charges that are out there, is trying to write whatever, a bad check or issue a fake this or a fake that. Honestly, I don't think they know. I don't think they understand that there's only two ways. Since they took the money away from us, there's only two ways, and that's to set off or discharge debt. That's it. That's it. And so how do you do that? You can't do it with money, so you're doing it with another debt instrument. Duh. And that's the big hello. And so are they ever going to let that come out in court? No, they're going to settle everybody out quickly. And that's what they do. Your affiant has read Black's Law 5th edition. The word account closed means state an account which has no further additions or subtractions can be made on either side, but which remains still open for adjustment and set off, which distinguishes it from an account stated. Your affiant has also not been made aware of any financial institution, by any financial institution, that they have received any benefit or harm. That's not been rebutted for me in 5 years. Your affiant affirms that this instrument was to never be deposited. Your affiant attests to the above signature line. Said instrument number 2 was written, all rights reserved, which is a reservation of all rights with full protections under the law, no waiver of any right. And your affiant has received no personal or direct or indirect nor deduction or addition or credit of any kind. And your affiant has not seen any personal, direct, or indirect benefit, no deduction or addition or credit of any kind to said account as listed in line number 2. Right there. So your affiant, after reviewing the same affirmation instrument, has been made aware of blah, blah, blah. Okay, here's the point, guys. Get this done and filed. You know, you got to do a new notary acknowledgement, and I'll go through it. I'll revise the doc. You know, I'll get that doc revised. The problem is with this is I'm just going to have to create a whole new section, and it's going to start over. All right, no big deal. So, and again, here's your steps. What to do, 1 through 6, 1 through 7, and there's your docs. And you can make this for anything that you've put your mark to. You got to remember something. Anything. You can remove your signature from anything. Okay? All right. Have I belated that? You can remove your signature from anything. It's yours. Because the definition of signature is an act of one putting one's name at the end of an instrument to attest its validity. How can you attest to the validity of half the instruments or all the instruments that you've written? You can't. So you can do an affidavit of non-signature, publish it, and it lawfully removes your signature from those instruments, those documents. It's pretty awesome. Okay, here we go. I've already said this to you. You go to the PowerPoint on my end so I can see where we're at. All right, you ready to get into some applications? Governmental applications and deceit, California driver's license. This is what it says on the back of the driver's license. I agree I'm in the United States under federal jurisdiction. Well, are you in the United States? Title 28, Section 3002. The law says the United States is a federal corporation, and in UCC 307H, it says that the exclusive jurisdiction of the United States is the District of Columbia. Are you in the United States, or are you on California? You feel me? Do you understand what that means? Merriam versus United States says the United States is a foreign corporation with respect to the state. So are you on the state, or are you in the United States on territory? Because the United States considers their territory a part of the United States. Territory, everything above ground. Land, everything on the land and below is relating to the man, is relating to the common, to the natural law, God's law. Everything above is legal, fiction, Satan, color of law. Let me just ask you this question, and I really want you to ask anybody that starts to say anything to rebut this. You tell them, if jurisdiction was automatic, why then do they need to make a contract saying you're in jurisdiction? If jurisdiction is presumed and assumed, why do they need to make it? Here's another question. Why is it that they don't define American or United States? Are you trying to tell me that if you look at Black's Law today, there's no definition for the United States? Are you trying to tell me that has never been adjudicated before? Black's Law 5th edition had it. And then a three-judge panel said, nah, it's not good. But a court trial said it was. And so the point being, what do you got to look for to see the difference? And it's all throughout the code and the statutes that, and the different case laws that are talking about state citizenship. But why is it that they don't clearly define it? It's because they don't want you to know. So if it was something that is automatic, jurisdiction, if jurisdiction was automatic, they would not need to put this on the back of an application with you agreeing to all the terms and conditions if you screw it up. Right? Think about it. Just ask anybody that. That's what really got me going. I was like 2008. I read the application for the first time in my life. Why didn't I read it before? So this is what I do. You can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you to do this, but this is what I do. Everything I write with the word by in front of my name, that shows me, it shows them that I am not the person listed above. I am the fiduciary, the agent. I put with explicit reservation of all rights without prejudice, non-assumptive, non-domiciled, non-resident, non-person without the United States, but with the United States of America. I put it above the line right where I sign my name. And everything goes to care of, because that's really to who. It's to them. It's their care and this address without the zip code. See, this is a private mailbox going to get my Passport Street in L.A., California, America, without the United States, non-domestic. Remember, everything is allegiance. Everything is declaration. Well, no, it's not. Really, how did our country get founded? By men and women simply declaring. How do you become saved? Declare that he died on the cross for you. Everything, guys, is declaration and faith in what you just did. Isn't that crazy? It's everything. You take a step forward in court, declaration and faith, baby. You take a step forward with God, declaration and faith. It's no different, man. This is what we're trying to learn. They don't want you to know this. They want you to be a good little person that is funding their wicked ways. So if you take a look at this, the most important component is the word in front of the signature line. By. That is the most important thing, because that makes the signature the agent. Okay? So that means you are signing as the agent of the person that is on the contract, that all caps person's name. That also means you are not that person. Now, if you see a surname on the contract above in the contract up here, you see a surname and a given name, then it's not the person, it's the living man, and this is not necessary. You feel me? You understand that? So, if you look at, first, what I would like people to do is read non-assumptive, the definition. Understand all rights reserved. Understand non-domiciled. I've heard domicile could go either way. Either way, I don't care. I don't want it. Notice how I tell you where I sleep. I put my head at. Are you asking me where I lay my head at night, Your Honor? Is that what you're asking me? Where I lay my head at night? No, I'm asking you where your residence is. Very clear. They'll tell you. I don't have a residence anywhere, sir. Well, do you live in California? Sir, I'm living right here. I live where I stand. I'm walking. This is where I breathe. This is where I'm living. Is that what you mean? I'm telling you guys, I wouldn't do this if I were you. And don't be disrespectful, because they will cuff you and stuff you. But there's ways of not even addressing any of that crap with, just having it properly defined before you go into that court. That's just the most important thing. All right, so here is a driver's license renewal. Now, on a driver's license renewal, there's a whole bunch of codes and statutes and stuff. Listen, I'm going to focus on a couple here. I don't have time to go through them all. 42 U.S.C. 405. Okay, the Social Security collection disclosure. You are required by law to provide your Social Security number, or your renewal by mail application will be denied. Authority to collect the Social Security number is 42 U.S.C. 405 in California Vehicle Code, blah, 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 blah. Lies, lies, lies. It should say desire to collect. It shouldn't say authority. So this is 42 U.S.C. 405. So just a thought here, and looking, and looking at this, it starts off with, it is the policy, okay? So I put the definition of policy. It's the general principles by which government is guided in its management of public affairs. See public policy. Okay, wait a minute. It's not law. It's general principles. It is the policy of the United States that any state or political subdivision thereof may in the administration of tax, blah, 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 driver's license, or blah, 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 utilize, not require, utilize the Social Security number issued by the Commissioner of the Social Security for the purposes of establishing identification. Go look up identification of your own. Go look up individuals on your own affected by such law, and may require any individual who is or appears to be so affected to furnish such a state. So this is where they get their you are required to crap for a DMV renewal to provide your social. That's where they get it from, 42 U.S.C. 405. There's nothing here that says I have to. Nothing. You feel me? So you need to move from the mindset of thinking, how do I read or interpret, to demanding. This is a lie. There is no law in 42 U.S.C. 405 that requires me to give you a social security number. As a matter of fact, you're violating public law, and then you cite it. I actually copied the whole page off of the Social Security Administration's website and put it into a Word document and started word searching driver's license. And this is the only section really that talks about it's pertinent to it. And guys, if you take a look at it, it takes so long. You could read this stuff for hours, and this is why people don't do it. And this is why people don't take the time. So you're sitting there, you're reading your application, and you go, oh man, it says, oh, I got to put my social, and the reality is, no, you don't. So what do you do with people that are making legal determinations? Well, you put them on video. Okay, if you're in a DMV, you're putting them on video. If you're going through the mail, you just write a really good letter, and you quote their laws, like I did in my explanatory statement. I showed them where they were lying. And I said, I am a United States of America citizen. And this is no different. You know, what is your definition of United States of America? I outlined mine with an asterisk. What is yours? Okay? Can you please tell me what your definition of a United States citizen is? And you know, everybody I've helped on jury duty, it's the same thing. I just, instead of denying the aspect of jury duty, because, you know, it's kind of cool to watch other people's stuff and be the only guy that knows the truth in the room and could have any potential ability to help them, right? But, you know, if you want to get out of jury duty, you just ask a bunch of questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? What does this mean? And then do a follow-up letter. And boom, boom, boom. They don't want to respond to that. Because you're not saying, I am not coming to jury duty. You're saying, I would love to come to jury duty, but I'm not sure if I am right for this particular private society or this particular community. So my jury duty, I just want to make sure I'm going into a de jure setting or whatever you're going to write. Can you please tell me what your definition of the United States is? They will never, ever, 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 ever define it. Ever. Why? Why don't they define it? They won't define the all-cap state of California. They don't define any of that stuff for us. There's only one man that I know of, and he showed me the letters. His name is Richard. I'm not going to say his last name. He's an old-timer in state citizenship stuff, but he never got anywhere near as far as we're getting today, meaning all the people out there fighting today. He is like a frontier kind of a guy. He showed me, he wrote letters to the Santa Ana District Court, and he asked for a response from there's two separate district court names, one for the de jure, I can't tell you their name, it's been so long, and one for the de facto. And he got letters on letterhead from both of them, and they were there in that building. And that, for me, was set me off on my way of trying to figure out what the heck. He got letters from them. Now, he could have been lying. He could have made them up, and I don't think this guy, if you knew him, would be able to do that, meaning make them up on a computer. But anybody could have done it. So I don't know what to believe, but I saw them, and it made me go, well, wait a minute. And then I started digging, and then he showed me the name for the Treasury Secretary in Federal Rules of Regulation. That, what do you call the de jure one? What do you call the de facto one? What do you call their job function is? And I'm like, wait a minute, they've outlined in the Federal Rules of Regulation the de jure and de facto titles for all departments and the positions across the country. Yeah, and then you go on the website and you look it up, and what does it say? Omitted. They won't show you those sections. They omit them on the internet from the people. They don't want the people to know that the de jure still exists. It's still there. And I don't mean to go off on a tangent right now on this slide, but this is something we need to get through, guys. You need to know who you are. Let me ask you something. Does this say anywhere in 42 U.S.C. 405, go pull it up yourself, read the whole dang thing. It'll take you 2 hours probably. Do a word search on driver's license. You'll cut it down. This is what it says. Does it say you are required to? No. No. It's a policy. It's not law. Here we go. So on a driver's license application, now you could do whatever you want. I found out about all this about 8 years ago. So my actual original driver's license application had a social on it. And now when I go down there with my son, who isn't adverse like me and is worried about public humiliation, I just decided to do what I did for myself to do for him. I put on the applications, all rights reserved, with the word by, non-assumpsit, which was enough. And cross out, I certify and I agree on all of my stuff and his stuff. And the application is yours. If they read it and accept it and issue something, that's on them. Okay? It's not for me to point them out their own applications that they're asking me to fill out. So I want you to look that this whole thing is designed with things that have nothing to do with a living man or woman. State, synonymous with the corporate state. First and middle names. Zip code, zone improvement plan, Social Security, identifier for a corporate employee of the United States. Right there. That's what it is. You're a corporate employee of the United States. Public service agency. Are you a member of the public? Or is your birth certificate a member? What does it take to get this? A birth certificate and an affidavit saying, I am. I certify under penalties of purging the laws of the corporate state of California that no Social Security number has ever been issued to me and I am not present. Well, guess what, guys? Theoretically, hold on. Theoretically, you can remove your signature from that Social Security application and you can keep all the rights and benefits of that Social Security application or that Social Security account because it was your sweat equity that did it, and I'll show you in the law. And I showed it to you last time on the first roundabout. But focus on this for a minute here. I understand that pursuant to Motor Vehicle Code, sections 120801, what does it say? I must provide my Social Security number to the motor vehicles when one is assigned to me. Well, I'm going to address that in just a minute, but that's not what it says. And as a matter of fact, this one is going to piss you off. So rather than standing there with my son and arguing, I just contracted appropriately, and I'm going to serve them with a disclosure statement that their application needs to be changed and adjusted to meet the a national of the not a national of the United States, but a state national. And so I'm going to do that basically to show them not only what my application truly says, but as a disclaimer, but that just to keep this on the record, that I have no use of that Social Security number that they own. That belongs to them. And I did a certain thing for the DMV on mine as public notice, public constructive notice, which means I took a recorded document in the county recorder and served them publicly, which is nobody's responded to that, which means it's fact and law. Now you're being noticed of it, and that's all. It's constructive notice. And so here, don't donate. Guys, I'm sorry, don't donate your organs. You will die in a mysterious car accident if you do. I'm just saying. Don't register to vote, guys. Please. Please. I will say, though, that I'm encouraged by the last election, not because I agree with Donald Trump, but I just thought for sure the other was going to get in. I almost made a prediction. And God, you know, literally I wrote a paragraph out to the members about election fraud because of all the election fraud. And I was going to send it, and God said, no, don't send it. Don't send it. You might look like an idiot. And I didn't. And guess what? Trump won. I couldn't believe it. But I didn't participate in that because I'm not a United States corporate citizen, and I don't reside in the District of Columbia, so I can't. And neither can you if you want to be a state citizen. So stop pretending you can vote and be a United States citizen and be a state citizen all at once. You have to make your allegiance to one or the other. Now, this is the one that I got kind of a little ruffled. This is Motor Vehicle Code 12801. And what does it say? What does it say? Notwithstanding any other law. What does that mean? Despite, in spite of. Okay, let's look up the Google definition real quick. Come on, let's go. So, as this comes up, notwithstanding any other law, the department shall require an application for a driver's license to contain the applicant's social. Does that mean I don't care about any other law? I mean, seriously, what does that mean? In spite of? Who cares? Is that what they're really saying? Look, notwithstanding that the hall was packed with bullies, our champion played on steadily and patiently. Okay, so is it a conjunction? Is it an adverb? Is it a preposition? Does it matter? Notwithstanding the evidence, the consensus was the jury will not reach a verdict. So who cares about the law? We're going to do this anyways. Oh my gosh. Does that piss you off? That's what this says. So for you Californians, it's going to be no different for you guys around the country. For you Californians, I'm telling you right now, the requirement for a Social Security number is a joke. And I'm respectfully going to come after them on it because I want it to be clear. I am not a U.S. citizen, and because of the fact that you have forced us to hold a driver's license, that means this, that I am giving you public notice and I need you to change your applications or suits. You know, what's going to happen? I mean, is there a law firm big enough to take on, you know, these entities out there, and then are they going to truly do anything? No. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to change their wicked ways and pulling people in. But guys, look, every one of these that has anything to do with it says notwithstanding any other law. That's upsetting. So to me, it's like, really? Are you that blatant now? Are we to the point where we can just tell people, I understand that pursuant to the Motor Vehicle Code, I must provide my Social Security. even though other laws say, federal laws say, I don't have to. Right? Do you remember that? Let's go back. I want to find it for you right here. Okay, this is just one. This is one of many, guys, and there's a lot. There's 42 USC, there's a lot. But this is what they say under 6039E, that you must provide your social. It has nothing to do with the social. It has to do with the taxpayer ID number. It has nothing to do what they cite. 6039E concerning the resident status on the DS11 form. That's what they cite. That's one of the things that they cite. Has nothing to do with the social. The other stuff that they cite has nothing to do with the social, or it has to do with delayed tax, a guy that has an issue on his taxes. So we're learning, and we just need to continue to learn and get to this point where we're able to overcome these objections. Now look at this, guys. I wanted to look at what code was, and I'm going to nail a home run for you. So forgive me, I'm going to take a little bit of time. Because when I am done in the next two slides, you're going to go, oh, no way. You're going to have one of those. No way. Calvi, that's awesome. No way. That's my goal. A complete code. These are all black 7. A complete system of positive law. Now, doesn't that make you think it's law, right? A complete system. You're going to look that one up later. Of positive law, carefully arranged and officially promulgated. I can't do that word. I'm sorry. A systematic collection, now listen to this, or revision of laws, rules, or regulations. And then it brackets Uniform Commercial Code. Strictly a code is a compilation not just of an existing statutes, but it also of much of the unwritten law on a subject. So code is not law. It's unwritten law. And statutes, existing statutes. Okay? Those are for persons. How do you know that? Let's look over here. Positive law. Right here. A complete system of positive law. Positive law. A system of law, I don't want to do the word, and implemented within a particular political community by political superiors. As distinct from moral law. It's different than moral law or law existing in an ideal community or in some other non-political community. A community is a big word, guys. Community, a neighborhood, vicinity, or locality, a society or a group of people with similar rights or interests, a collection of common interests that arise from an association. So, positive law is for a community, it's a community, a society, and it is what the code means. Code is positive law. It's for a community that belongs to a particular body or group of people that belong in a society. And so let's go to the next slide. Remember what we talked about last year or last month. Here's Black's Law, 8th edition, state. State, lowercase. Let's go to theirs first. A state is a community of persons living within certain limits of territory under a permanent organization which aims, that permanent organization, the sovereign known as the United States, aims to secure the prevalence of justice by self-imposed law for persons in a community. I feel like doing a Medea. Hello. So a state is a community of persons, and the system of law is promulgated, and implemented within a particular political community by political supervisors. So it's not supervisors, superiors. So they're a status greater than you, right? Aren't public servants in our state supposed to be inferiors? They are, because you're self-governed. In a lowercase state, the political system of a body of people, not persons, who are politically organized, and a system of rules by which jurisdiction and authority are exercised over such body of people. Done and done. This belongs to the people, 1849 California Constitution. This belongs to the corporations, because a corporation can only do business with a like-minded entity. A corporation cannot sue a real living man. Rundle versus Delaware. So now that you know a corporation can only sue a real living man, how do you feel? Or a corporation can't sue a real living man. How do you feel? All right, so think about this stuff, guys. This is why we use specific things and stuff. Listen, guys, there's an incredible amount of people on the webinar right now, and I appreciate people giving away the webinar to their family and friends. But if you didn't pay for this webinar and you didn't get a special code from me, jump off, because we'll have somebody in the background start kicking people off that don't have their logon emails the same as the person that registered. People did pay for this, and if you didn't ask for a donation of the event, jump off the event. Thank you. I see people leaving. All right, guys. So this is this not like critical stuff? You know, you're going through the contracts, you're starting to understand the difference of the all caps and upper and lower, and then it's one of those things that we need to really start grabbing onto. Self-imposed. Couldn't find a Black's Law definition. It's an adjective. It's a imposed on oneself, not by an external force. So let's go back here. It's imposed on oneself, not by an external force. So they're taking law and imposing it on itself. I don't really understand that so much, but these people are imposing the law on themselves, and I kind of would like to think about that as meaning it's done through adhesion contracts, that they're requesting to live by allegiance and contract through this type of an entity. All right, public, relating or now here's an interesting thing. You can look at it a couple different ways. Public, relating to, belonging to an entire community, state, or nation. Notice lowercase. Open or available for all to use. That's an interesting one. Having shares that are available. And then here's, that's the adjective. And here's the noun. The people of a nation or a community as a whole. Now look, guys. So theoretically, the public, when they say it, could be for people or persons. Okay? People or persons. Why? You know, the bottom line is, I don't want to get into that. I could talk on that for an hour. All right, so now let's look at this slide. Read the title. How do you become a resident? You declare. What's the title of this? Declaration regarding certificate of insurance for a non-resident driver. So the applicant is a non-resident before this affidavit. Now he is saying, I am a resident of the state. So according to the DMV, now listen to me. According to the DMV, you can become a resident by declaring. Declaring. This isn't me. This is them. You become a resident by your own words. So that means, remember what the Law of Nations says about residents? I wish I'd have thrown it in here, but I didn't. The Law of Nations says about residents that you're a subclass citizen, a form of citizen, but not one with all the rights. Think about that. All right, so everything in our life is by declaration. So they have structured in their system your ability to get a formal statement or a proclamation of your intention. And then you do this declaration of intention. The definition means, let's look at this. Declaration of intention. An alien's former statement resolving to become a U.S. citizen. Isn't that interesting? What's an alien? It's something alien to the corporation. I mean, I got a bunch of word definitions at the end. We can play a little bit with that towards the end of the day. But a declaration is a formal statement or announcement. That's it. One embodied in an instrument. Now that's an interesting statement. So what is a declaration of intention? It's an alien's formal statement resolving to be a U.S. citizen and to renounce allegiance. So what matters in law to them? That you renounce allegiance to any other government or country to become a U.S. citizen. What if the reverse were to take effect? What if you were to declare the reverse? That would mean you would have the opposite of your intentions to become a U.S. citizen. So that's why you scroll up in the slides and you have that list of documents of declarations from people. Declarations is how you do everything. Do you guys remember what the name of our country was founded on? With that trust document, the Declaration of Independence? That's all it was. It was a community of people resolving to form a new country and get out of the tyranny of the king. That was it. And this is saying the reverse. This is Declaration of Intention. It's saying the same thing. Well, an alien to the United States is anything outside of the District of Columbia. And an alien to the United States could be a state citizen. It could be think about this. We're so programmed here, guys. You look at the guy that crosses the border, and they used to call them illegal aliens. Okay, that was an incorrect term, so they changed the lawful term to excuse me, undocumented workers. So the lawful term for an illegal alien now is an undocumented worker. Okay, why is that? Well, here, a declaration of intention, it's taking that guy, the alien, by definition, as somebody who is probably, and again, there's 10 different definitions, but somebody that's not, there's a resident alien and a non-resident alien. The resident alien is required to pay taxes. Let's look at it this way. So I asked somebody, I was around in a group of Christian men, and they looked at me, and they said to me, so you don't pay taxes? I mean, that's where they're trying to nail me right away. I said, no, I pay a lot of taxes. I probably pay more taxes than you. And I said, what's your point? And he said, well, why don't you have to pay taxes? I said, well, I'm not a citizen of the United States, and I haven't contracted. They said, what does contracting have anything to do with it? They said, it's based on citizenship. And I said, oh, is it? I said, well, first off, does a citizen of Mexico have to pay taxes to the United States? And they said, no. And I said, yes and no. And I said, what do you mean? And I said, well, what if that citizen of Mexico was working for a United States company in the United States? Would he be paying taxes? And they said, yes. And I said, that's what I mean by contracted. And I said, so what is the, and I said, so here's the point. What is the mechanism that makes you pay taxes? And then they had their aha moment. And I said, it's the W-4, the 1099, and the fact that you declare to be a U.S. citizen, and that you have contracts that would stipulate that you're a U.S. citizen. That's what that's where we're at. So it was an aha moment for one guy, and you know, he probably will never do anything about it. And look, if you guys haven't seen the original video, you need to go and get it on statecitizenship.org, because you will have an aha moment. If you're a Christian especially, you'll have an aha moment. We can't be in that anymore. We can't. We got to move away from that. So a citizen, I want to get into the marriage contracts, but I'm going to be spending some time there. All right. So a citizen today is those who under the Constitution and the laws of the United States or of a particular community. Wait a minute. Under the Constitution, or so you can be under the Constitution and the laws of the United States, or of a community, or of a foreign country, meaning communities can create its own law form. This is an aha moment for everybody. It should be, and in the very near future, I'm going to prove this. So, allegiance. There's the key word right there, allegiance, and are entitled to the full enjoyment of civil. Oh, thank you, Lord. Oh, I've been given rights. Thank you, Lord. I got man's unalienable rights. Oh, I'm so appreciative. And I don't mean to sound like a smart aleck. This is kind of it irks me, doesn't it irk you? To those who qualify for that status. See, guys, they need the Hispanics. They need the Canadians. They need the refugees coming. Why do you think they're coming? Do you think they're coming by design to hurt us? Well, yes, maybe, but guess what else they're coming for? The second they cross that border and take on a status of residency and get a green card, they are now chattel just like you. It puts more money into the corporation's pocket to have more people to monetize, because the only thing of value in this world is the people. That's it. Everything else has been stolen and handed over. And everybody else has been made to think that they serve the corporations and that the corporations don't serve themselves. See, that's the thing that we need to get over. This is today's definition, freedictionary.com, 2017. We don't have civil rights. We're not under the Constitution. And yeah, you can call it whatever, a community. We are a foreign country with respect to the United States. Absolutely, and we do owe allegiance, but we're not entitled to the enjoyment of any civil rights. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but now I'll take my God-given rights, and I don't need to qualify for anything because I was born with them. All men and women were created equal, born with God-given unalienable rights. So you feel me? This is where we need to get our minds at. I'm not even going to read the definitions of these other citizens. Guys, you can go look it up. Citizen of the United States residing on any of the several states of the Union. You go read them up, read them yourself, and get the definitions for yourself and start asking yourself, who am I? Who am I? Think about that for a sec. Who are you? What are you doing to live out this God-given right? All right. I'm thinking this is, okay, I'll do this slide, and then we're going to take a lunch break because the next slides I want to go into hard and strong. Okay, so I'm sitting down and I'm working with somebody on how to get account open for the first time, and I give them my account number, and I just say, look, tell the bank to go look up this account number and to create a secondary account like the first one. So the first time, you basically go in there and you can say whatever you want pertaining to the Social Security number, meaning, look, you can actually utilize a social to get an account open because it opens it up at check systems. They just use it for check systems. I've seen people do it that way. I've seen people come in with the W-8 forms. I've seen people come in with the no social, and then they want to get you to fill out a form that basically makes you a resident and an alien and so on and so forth. So the bottom line is, I think for me, I did it the most clean way possible, where I only have on my account my name and my signature and no social. And so one of the things I'm going to talk to people about is creating a church at the very end. And again, I'm only doing this if people need assistance or help. I'm not going to do it for a non-believer. And it's not because I'm not a racist. It's because it's a belief system. Under the IRS exemption codes, it's only for Christians. It's not. It could be for any religious entity, but I am a Christian helping people start Christian churches, not helping people to start any other kind of a church, period. So, again, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, render to God what is God. So, if you've properly opened up a private account as a foundation or self-supporting ministry, now you're doing church under God. And operating everything under God, then you, being the executive director, would only be on the signature portion of the account. I literally have had bank managers come up and tell me, we need your IRS exemption showing that you have approval as as a non-profit, or I forget the term they use. And I looked at her, I said, no, I don't. And she said, no, we do. And I said, ma'am, I got 4 other accounts with you guys, and I've never been asked that question. And that's not allowed. I don't need approval from the IRS to function as a private ministry. And she looked at me, and she knew I knew what I was talking about. And she says, no, I'm serious. I need something put in there. And I said, then put not applied. And she literally looked at the girl, and she said, okay, put does not apply. I'm serious. That's the way it went down. And she said, she talked about needing the social. I said, it's not on the other account. You don't need the social. And she said, well, what are we going to run to open up the new account? I said, run the tax ID number. And that's what they did. Guys, look, you create your own destinies, okay? And this is important because this is the stuff that they're going to have. And so with no social appearing on the account, yes, it does get a little bit more tedious to get this done properly, but well worth the patience and the time. My first time I did this, 4 hours, one account. 4 hours. 4. By the time I was done with them, I had the screen turned around and I was telling them what to put in the fields. I'm not kidding. And when it was all said and done, I've got a beautifully structured private ministry church under God. Do I teach the Lord's word? Yes. Do I have a body of people that listen to me teach the Lord's word? Yes, and more. All of the full counsel of God I'm talking about, coming back under God, walking away from being a surety of anything. All of the counsel of God. That's not Kelby, that's God. That's in the Word. And so when I sit down with this kind of a contract in front of me, I start talking general with the guy about other things, about other entities they've helped. And while he's talking, I'm reading for the places that I need to cross out. I'm just being upfront with you. This is what I've done for me, okay? And then when it comes time and I'm thinking I'm done, where I have a little idea, I'm going to cross that out. I'm going to cross out certify. I'm going to cross out U.S. citizen or U.S. person. When I think I have done and ready what I want, I ask him to get up and get me a glass of water. And they freak out, man. So I've had a guy. I'm like, sir, I'm really thirsty. Can you hook me up? He's like, and I'm holding the documents tight in my hand, and he's not allowed to do that. So when he's gone, I'm crossing out the areas that I want, and I'm putting my disclaimer. Then when he comes back, meaning the disclaimer on the signature line, then when he comes back, I sign it. And I hand it back to him. And I said, can I have a photocopy of that, please? And he says, sure. Done. I'm done. Done. Take a very fine Sharpie gel pen, and cross out any reference to U.S. citizen or U.S. person. Because I do not agree. And I've done that with numerous accounts, so there's no excuses. No excuses. Now look, let's take a full, I'm blowing really quick here, and I think we're going to have a great day. Let's take a full hour and a half lunch, and I will see you here at 2 p.m. Pacific. And get ready, because we're going to come back on some pretty exciting stuff. Thanks. All right, guys. How you doing? You all see my screen? All right. Let me get out of here. Let's close this down. Let's do this. All right. Can you all hear me? Do me a favor, make comments. Good. Thank you, Thomas. All right. Thank you, Vic. All right, let's go. You're getting an advanced peek. No, you're not. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Right. Boom. There. Okay, so let's blow this sucker up. Come on. All right. So welcome back. We got 2 more sections today. We're going to try to get through them. I got a lot to talk about. And the fun stuff is yet to come, and then we got a couple little tedious things that we need to go through. Antonio, no, you're really not there. I'm not there. You mean you can't hear me, Antonio? Anthony hears me loud and clear. So, all right, we got issues all over, but we also have clarity all over, so we got to figure out what the issue is locally. Antonio, if you can't hear, you can call in. The number's listed above on the screen, right across the top. Dial in number 701-801-1211. Antonio, you're messing with me. All right, bro. I'm going to meet you someday, Antonio. You're going to regret this one. Just saying. Just saying. No, he was messing. Thomas John, he was messing. He's just wasting our time right now, and he's LOLing. He's laughing. He's chuckling. I bet his belly's going up and down right now. That's funny. All right. So, look, this is a birth certificate from, I think it's like 1945. Now, I want you to focus where they sign, because that's really the important thing is where they sign. We, the groom and bride named in this certificate, hereby certify that the information given is to be correct to the best of our knowledge and belief. Now, man, that's how it was in 1945. And no, it wasn't on a 32-pound watermarked banknote paper, okay? This marriage was later securitized, not back then, but it was later. These are all things you can find on the internet, guys. I found these on the internet and just pulled them off. Check this one out. We, the bride and groom named within this certificate. Oh, by the way, this is 1962. Is 1960. So we're getting a little bit later, and they're getting a little bit better in their wording. Named in this certificate, each for himself, state that the foregoing information is correct to the best of our knowledge and belief, and that no legal objection to the marriage nor to the issuance of a license. Okay, so there's 2 separate things: marriage and issuance of a license. To authorize the same is known to us, and hereby apply for the license to marry. Okay. Now in California, I'm just going to tell you, my license from 22 years ago says, and this is, now understanding the above, for every pastor, and I'm just because there's pastors need to know this, Christians need to know this, and I'm just going to tell you right now, pastors, you're committing fraud if you ask your permissioner to sign a marriage license application, because this is what it says here in California. I don't know what it says in other states, but I'm going to show you what it says in California 22 years ago and California today. So through trickery, my parents told me that they needed to have a license to be married, and on that license, your name is in all caps. The all caps name is synonymous with the all caps name on the birth certificate. We went over the all caps before. That's the registered organization created by the state and law. Marriage without a license is equal footing to a marriage with a license. That's common law. Men, through their pastors, who were told by their senior pastors, who were told by their attorneys, who the government trained that you must be a 501c3 recognized church, and that you should have all your parishioners get a license by the state to approve their marriage. See, the marriage license and birth certificate and driver's license, voter registration, and 100 other contracts, including residency, is what makes you an employee of the United States Corporation. Hence, I was born a second-class citizen per se. If you read what they tell you, how the posterity of, like in the Law of Nations, a resident is a reduced class citizen, and a permanent resident, which read page 2 of the application of the DS-11 form, what they're trying to get you to say you are is a permanent resident, has their children have the posterity of the parents, meaning you will be passed on that from your parents to that of the child. So that subclass citizenship of the parent as a U.S. citizen gets passed on to the child. Instead of learning about it in school, I continued to enter into more agreements, more contracts to substantiate what my parents already did without my knowledge or true consent. Hence, you became the surety for the United States Corporation. So pastors, listen to me. On the marriage, this is what it says on my marriage license. I'll provide it to anybody that wants to see it. I have certified copies. It says, we agree that we are an unmarried man and unmarried woman and have been living together as husband and wife. That is on my marriage license. So you're looking at what they would consider legal framework for what the terms unmarried man and unmarried. So what is that term unmarried, meaning without license, right? That's all it means. And have been living together as husband and wife. Now, let me say it to you this way. Theoretically, if a pastor is asking for their parishioners to get a license.
Guys, that is going to conclude the event preview. I know that you've had a few hours and we're stopping it right before the important information, but we encourage you to go to statecitizenship.org and review there your purchase options of what you can do so that you can get a copy of the information, the rest of this video, and all the corresponding documents that go with what it takes to become a state citizen. Also, the passport application and all that I had to go through, and much, much, much more. Depending on your purchase option, it does include the ability to ask questions through the website, through your process, and so that you can solidify getting this done for yourself. We want to thank you guys. God bless, and see you at statecitizenship.org.